Yes. Another Wednesday. Another motherfucking Wednesday.
What's up?
From your favorite WCW. Show me how to take that back because I got some Hennessy in my system right now. And we definitely got Craig the engineer.
What's up? Yeah. What's up? I'm here.
Yes. Now, those that don't know, engineers are very important when creating masterpieces and the production work of any music. Even our engineer for the show, they are responsible for making things sound right. Now, if you don't know what kind of stuff that he was working on, he did Panda. I got bras in Atlanta. I don't know what he was saying, but you understand what I'm saying. Yeah, and he did Jim Jones' new project, Wasted Talent. And you did the whole project. You engineered that whole project. Okay. And I'm pretty sure there's other dope artists that you did as well. Can you name a few?
I mean, there are tons of artists that I work with over the last.
Talking to this mic right here.
I'm sorry. All right, for the last 6 months alone, it's probably been like Rich Homie Quan, Tory Lanez, a bunch of people. You know, I work for Google as well. I have a contract that I do with Google, so I deal with tons of people.
Stunting.
Will Smith, everybody.
Will Smith.
He did. Yo, if you pay attention, he said this last
I'm not worthy.
6 months.
I'm not
He didn't say 6 years. He said 6 months. In this 6 months window, this is what I've been doing.
Yeah, nah, you crazy, Chaz. You definitely were. I appreciate you having me.
I appreciate you coming here. Fuck you talking about.
Yo, he come through with Hennessy. You don't even drink Hennessy. Who does that, yo?
You know what I'm saying?
All other guests, you need to step your game up.
Nothing. They don't even have a full sentence to talk about.
Yeah, they need to step their game up. He came up with Hennessy. He don't even drink nothing.
After today, you gotta be about some real shit, cause I done stepped my game up to
We set the bar.
I said, yeah, the bar was set today. So what made you want to do this, though? What made you want to be,
To be honest, I started out, it's a long story, I started out playing in a band. Like, I was a guitar player, you know, that we talked about. I've been playing guitar my whole life, so I was just in a band in the Caribbean. I'm from the Bahamas, and I opened up for like...
Oh, you Bohemian. Yeah. That's that Rihanna. You look kind of light-skinned over there. He got that light-skinned, light-eyed shit going on over
so I got a little Caribbean, definitely all Caribbean. So yeah, I started over there, and being in the band, I just wanted to perfect the music, and one thing just led to the next. I worked with tons of reggae celebrities. I was fortunate enough to work with a lot of reggae celebrities as a kid, being in the Bahamas, and I'm like one of the main go-to guitar guys. So when they come through, like Buju Banton, Capleton, Sizzler, I knew these guys since I was like 13, 14, running around with their bands playing, and it was just art of engineering was just there for me, you know?
The art of engineering.
Yeah. Was it because you was a mean guitarist, or was it just like you was in the right environment at the right time?
It was kind of both. Because I was a mean guitarist. People respected me, so they allowed me to record their music. They were like, okay, his stuff is dope, but I really didn't know what I was doing. I just knew how to play guitar. So it was a process I had to learn, you know, from the ground up.
That's respect.
Yeah.
And so since you did so many different genres of music, what was the genre that was like really outside of the box for you?
I'm gonna be honest, I really love hip hop. That's like the genre that's kind of outside of the box. That's me, because I grew up reggae. I don't know if you, like, my culture is strictly reggae. So when I just fell in love with hip hop. Like my homie TJ over there, he could tell you, ever since I came here, I've been like submerged in that genre.
What made you fall in love with hip hop? Was it a song? Was it a situation?
Producing. Like, I started to make hip hop beats. I was a reggae guy, so I mainly focused, you know, instrumentation, playing out everything, drum tracks and all that foolishness. But when I got into the art of like producing hip hop tracks, that shit is mesmerizing. It's like you could make one beat and that shit is like a 4-bar loop, and you could sit there and listen to that shit for like 2 hours, just nodding your head.
That's the.
And that shit just. You understand what I'm saying? It's funny. And after that, I'm like, yo, I'm in here.
It's funny that you say that because it's funny that you say that because I feel the same. I feel the same way about reggae music.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that's memorizing. Like, you know what I mean?
It is.
Don't get me. I get up.
Get another bottle. Let's get another bottle. Let's get another bottle.
Let's go. That want me to do somewhere else.
So is it really a difference between hip hop and reggae, or is it like the same vibe? Or
it's a similar vibe. It's both like emotional music, you know, like people both it's all oppression, you know, like hip hop is like mostly poor kids, reggae is mostly poor artists from the Caribbean, so it's definitely a similar vibe, similar feel, like that pain is there. But I, like you said, I love reggae, and that's like my first music that I learned. But like music that came outside of the box, like when I was a kid, I wouldn't listen to hip hop. Like I knew about it, but I just wasn't, you know, it wasn't my thing. It was just like, nah, I want to hear Burn and Spill, Bob Marley, or Sizzler, Buju. That's all. Walk Like a Champion. That's what I grew up as a teenager listening to.
So which one is more easier to produce? Is it hip hop or reggae? Which one?
For me, it's reggae. For me, it's reggae, and that's a problem for me too sometimes because I'll be trying to make a hip hop beat and I slip back. Like, oh shit, people be doing the wine like like this shit all right now. Like, no, that's not what I'm trying to do. That's not what I'm trying to do. I need the head nod.
I'm trying to get you the wine. Yeah. I'm trying to get you the ball.
I need the head nod and shit. They're like, nah, but this kind of groovy. It's got a little island vibe. I'm like, no. They're like, yo, Drake though, Drake. I'm like, no.
So with the music that you produce and the artists that you engineer for, what is some of the livest moments that you ever had in the studio?
Oh man, there's been a bunch. I'm not gonna lie, like Jim is a good guy. Like some of the, like for the last year, it's been just experience with him. Like that guy, he brings everybody in the studio, you know? And he always has like other celebrities around him. So just being a part of that whole Wasted Talent album process, that was a very good experience. Okay. And I mean, over the years, there's been so much things. When I did, I gotta think. Damn, been doing too much. For something like, I don't know, it's hard. I think for the most recent experience would be Jim Jones and just being submerged in a ton of different artists. Yeah.
And that's amazing. Like, but you can't get fucked up in none of that stuff. Because you got to be on point or
you got to stay focused. Yeah, nah, I can't get fucked up at all. That's why I kind of stray away from the drink. And I do like to drink, but, you know, I got to record and then I get carried away. And you can't really concentrate too, you know. Everybody has their own poison. Me, I smoke a little, you know. Yeah. That's cool. I smoke, but moderation.
You better smoke. You from the Caribbean. Like, how you don't? You supposed to be smoking blunts out the cooch. Like, you know what I'm saying? As soon as you get born.
More or less.
That's supposed to be, you know, the natural thing. So who is your top 5 dead or alive as far as maybe producers or other engineers that you may look up to?
I mean, honestly, off the top, Dr. Dre. Like, that's not even a question. Not because of what's going on. Like, since I was a kid, even though I told you, like, I didn't listen to much hip-hop, I was aware of the Chronic. Yeah. And I was aware of, like, the sound quality of that shit.
And pissed me off because I was still, it was early, but it was still kind of late in his career to catch on to him at the Chronic stage.
Exactly. So, that's when I caught on to him. But the sound quality of that shit pissed me off because I couldn't duplicate that shit. And I'm like, yo, I need my vocals to sound like this nigga shit. Like, it was just super clear. And I've been on that mission ever since. And I got an SSL 9000J of my own. That's what he uses. I had to get it. So it's like, that gives you that pristine sound. And I definitely look up to Dre, everything he does. I mean, I'm not too active in what he's doing right now with the Apple. I'm more salute him as a producer and in the hip hop field. And he's just all around, hands down.
So like, you got Dre. Who else? You got
that's the man you want. Dre, damn. Oh, man.
There's no pressure.
I'd say another great producer is Darkchild. I always looked up to Darkchild.
And we talked about him before because when he works with artists, like especially Brandy, he brought the best artists out. She sung the best when she fucked with Darkchild. It's like he made her a better artist. So
it bugged me out because he came from working on Brandy and doing he was in a lot of R&B world and a lot of urban stuff. And when he did the Rock My World stuff, and like my classmate worked with him on that project, the school I went to. So I was not a part of it, but I was.
You was
observing a little bit as it went down, and I'm like, damn, this dude is a genius. Like the shit he does, the way he produces his track, the way he makes his beats. You need a super studio to even just keep up with that dude. Like, he has access to everything. Yeah.
All right. So next.
Next, as a top producer, what's the guy's name that plays the keys?
Scott Storch.
Not Scott Storch. The big black. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say
big black dude. Keep explaining it, cause I might know.
He's kind of chunky.
Did he produce for Justin Bieber?
I think so.
Him? Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Hubert?
Polo?
Nah. You all know his name. If I can't, I just.
Big black dude is nasty on the keyboards though.
I can't
remember.
I can't remember.
Teddy something. Teddy
Riley is not.
No, it's not Teddy Riley, but it has Teddy in the name.
Teddy Ruffskin?
All right, we could come back to that.
I like Timberland. Timberland is also
Timberland, yes.
Timberland is good because his longevity over time. Right now, he's not as current, but I respect what he did.
But he did change the sound of music.
He definitely changed the sound of music.
He changed the sound of hip-hop.
And you pointed that, that's a fact. All those triplets and all that,
Yeah.
stuttering. He introduced that into the game.
Yeah,
it was a while,
everybody bit his style.
Everybody bit his style.
He should have copyrighted that motherfucker.
He put out the Missies, the Leahs, and all that, man.
It's classic. Yeah, like you can't, that man is...
You can't follow him. If it wasn't for him, it probably wouldn't be no Pharrell type shit.
Exactly. So that guy is one of my top producers all time.
And you could say one more.
Yeah, he just mentioned. It was crazy. I had Pharrell in my head for some reason from the beginning, but the only problem with Pharrell was they play too much. Because I'm a musician. Yeah. Their chords are kind of crazy. Like they don't have they're dope, but it's hip hop dope. You know what I'm saying?
It's like no structure to it.
Yeah, it's like you're not supposed to play A flat with C, dude. Don't do that.
I think that's a part of their style. They just don't give a fuck.
But he's super dope, and I love him.
I disagree because look at jazz.
Hello.
And hip hop is like the grandchild of jazz.
It is.
And look how the chords and the piano and the horns was all over the fucking place. It didn't make sense at all.
You just made sense to me though. No, you just made sense to me. That's crazy you said that because that exactly is what hip hop is. Like some notes are off and jazz is. You play jazz.
And then when you play jazz, you be mellow. Like it all makes sense when you hear it. But it's like
that's crazy. You said that jazz. That's real though.
It's a feeling.
That's real. That's real.
All over the place. It's just like a loop.
Even like the early hip hop. If you go back and you listen to the early hip hop, the samples of how they looped it, it wasn't on time. It was off.
Yeah, it was always offbeat.
But it was a vibe. Like
and there are a lot of great producers out there. Don't get my top pick over. This is not overall
this is for the conversation.
Like I told you,
this is for conversation right now.
In the 90s, I wasn't really probably as active in hip hop as you were, so I'm probably skipping over some producers that you've been like, yo, that dude.
This is your personal taste. Like this is for conversation. Like tomorrow you could wake up and be like, damn, why is
I should have said this.
You understand what I'm saying?
Plus,
This is for right now. We ain't gonna hold you to no standard.
Your ear for music. It gives me an idea. It's never your top two. It's always your bottom three that makes me know who you really are. Because people can always say your typical producers, your typical artists, but your bottom three lets me know who you was listening behind closed door that wasn't out in the open, that wasn't trending to everybody else. You know?
Honestly, I felt one of the first producers when I started producing hip hop beats and not as much reggae. It was Kanye West because it was like early 2000s, and I love Kanye West.
Yes.
His political view was crazy, and whatever he's doing right now.
College Dropout.
He's a little psycho right now, but
he's always
College Dropout. But I started to fall in love with his stuff. He was producing for Talib Kweli before he even started to do his own stuff. And I was like, yo, who the hell is making these beats? Like how they chopping the samples like this? Yeah, like even I was tight. I'm like, I got to do this. I went and bought me an MPC. I'm like, this is it. I gotta get involved.
That's amazing. So where you want to go with this? Like, I know you engineering now, and you work with some of the current greats and legendaries. What are you trying to do with your engineering skills, your guitar skills? Too bad you didn't bring that shit. Like, I'm mad because I wanted to have like a little.
He put the Henny. Like,
you know what I'm gonna do? I need to go to the studio because I went to the studio before. And you gotta visit that studio because the artwork on the wall is amazing. And it's so comfortable and relaxed. I can see how.
So you gotta do a live out there.
Yeah, I have to do a live at location there. I can see how you could get in your zone there. And I have to come out there to come check you.
Please, you way more than welcome.
Yeah, but I need to get it on film this time.
Oh yeah, that's not a problem. That's not a problem.
So where you trying to go with this?
I mean, well, the main goal right now and what I'm focusing on, like me and my partner TJ, I'm trying Hi, Ugly. I'm trying to open up a new studio, a new facility of my own, and just cater to like higher end clients and cater to everybody basically.
What's higher end than what you already got?
Right? Panda was a smash hit.
He already said Will Smith in the same breath as Jim Jones and everybody. So where else?
Like he want to fuck with aliens and shit. Like what the hell?
What Barack Obama go about to drop some bars? Like who else you
got their cash? Aliens got a limited bank. Nah, but just open up a better facility. I always have a vision of like a certain facility that just caters to make people feel comfortable and at home. Like,
Yeah,
even when you come to the studio, you're not an artist, but you're just like, yo, I don't even want to leave.
The vibe
That's
is
what
crazy.
I want to create, like a space that's multi-room that can do that. And as well, I'm branching off into music management with TJ, you know what I'm saying? And I'm doing a lot of producing right now, a lot of producing. So we're trying to shop songs with different artists to different artists.
You also build websites as well?
Yeah, I build websites.
Yeah.
I do. That's
so if you want your
on my own.
website done, so you real technical savvy.
Yeah, you know, I'm from the Caribbean. I got like 4 jobs. You know, like, y'all remember in Living Color?
And a part-time one. And he sell butt on the side.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying.
Yo,
He's the plug. Holla at him.
you like we've been going back and forth with these 2 words, and I just want to ask this question because I'm confused, and I think people that's listening might be confused. What's the difference between an engineer and a producer?
Well, that's a good question. A lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
A producer, it's a fast definition for a producer too. So I'm gonna start with engineer. Engineer is responsible for recording, mixing, and mastering of any audio, any media, like audio. It could be a song, it could be this interview that we're doing right now. So the audio engineer handles that, and they basically give you the best levels possible. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure that's my definition of it. But so audio engineer basically responsible for recording and tracking and keeping everything in order in the session. A producer, in the traditional sense of the word producer, they would just oversee the audio engineer and make sure like the music is there, the artist has everything organized. And this is a traditional producer. This is like Phil Collins' producer, Rodney Jerkins' producer. Okay.
So
this is the real definition of producer.
They book the artists and they make sure the engineer is there, stuff like that, but you're the one actually doing the work.
Exactly.
You're hands-on with the music and creating. And so he's the one creating the masterpieces.
In a rock and roll project, the producer gets the budget. Okay. You understand? And the engineer just records the song. So the producer would allocate studio time.
But not just record it, like
in hip hop, the producer kind of makes the
whole vibe. They set the tone for the whole shit.
Yeah, and you put in the bells and whistles on the song to make it sound crisp. So I don't like that you said, oh, we just recorded it. Nah.
No, hold on.
Absolutely.
Now
not.
it's a part 2 to this question.
Yes.
It's a part 2 to this question because it gets blurry. Like, is it any point in the recording process that the engineer becomes the producer without the engineer realizing it?
Yeah, a lot of times. There's a lot of times.
So that's why this conversation is so all over the.
And it's important to have.
She had a very good point because we end up putting the song together. Sometimes the producer wouldn't even know like necessarily like, yo, this part doesn't work. We might have to cut this out or just do certain things like. Certain things to make the track pop more, you know what I mean? Whatever it is.
And I've seen engineers at work, so I understand that fully. And for the most part, and not to take away from the hardworking producers that really make it happen, but y'all just in there just telling people what to do while the engineers actually making it happen.
Yeah, you're right.
Not all, but for the most part, all right? Because
technically, the producers get the credit, the engineers do the work.
But the
that's
sad
how it works
part,
out. But we get the hour. We get paid by the hour.
Listen, the sad part about it, you don't really see the engineers' names on album covers anymore. The back of the album cover, when they giving everybody their fucking credit, you don't see engineers' names on there when they really the one who was the real track master of the fucking situation. And that's sad. They'll give the credit to the producer producing, co-produced and all this other shit, but it's the engineer who got. So when you bop in your head, that's the engineer. Because I'm pretty sure when you in the booth, he's you got to play that again. Nah, you got to say it this way. Nah, well maybe if we put in some chimes over here, that'll make it sound
100% right.
Maybe if we fucking, you know what I'm saying? So you bopping your head to the engineer's genius as opposed to the fucking producer.
I figured it out.
Yeah, she's right.
An engineer has a thankless job. An engineer has a thankless job.
Yeah.
I figured it out.
Well, the engineer, like I just said, the engineer is the guy in the background. The producer usually gets all the credit. And it happens, you know? Like, we do a lot of work. Especially when it comes to the new pop songs with auto-tune and all that. A lot of that engineers make those songs. You know, they
So
make those songs.
Is that a part of paying your dues till you get your stripes up to become a producer, or?
Well, I mean that is one way to look at it, but then there's also a system where some people just would never give you credit. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to step up and demand it, or just get into a better situation.
Well, we're gonna stop that bullshit right now. Fuck that. We're gonna stop that bullshit right now. We're gonna give all the engineers. Shout out to Will, my motherfucking
Shout out my
live
man Will,
at,
for real.
my live at engineer.
He wanna
who
talk.
makes
He got the
every
mic in his hand right
motherfucking
now.
week possible. We're gonna shout
out Will. I
Without
respect
you,
all
we don't have
engineers.
applauses and music videos and everything so happening so seamlessly and going on. And even when I'm running a little bit late or whatever.
He want to talk right now. He got a
Oh,
mic
you
in his
No. I just wanted to play to your point. Like sometimes, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but sometimes, like in an engineer's position, if you have so much input in a track, when it comes to the legalities of the song or the album or whatever, you can say, look, I want this type of credit, like depending on the situation.
You're right.
So
right.
it's not always the case that the engineer goes unnoticed. But, you know, like, there are certain instances where it's like, yo, if they contribute, like, you just have to give it up. Dependent.
Yes,
Right.
and we need to give them their fucking just due. And I'm tired of that shit. We need to put them in all the credits, even though, you know,
part of the game,
albums
though.
is
It's a
not
part
being
of the
sold
game.
anymore, really, but vinyls are coming back. Put that shit in the back of the fucking engineered by.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? Even if it's multiple engineers, put that shit there.
You're right.
Why? Why are you leaving it out for? Being that everything is so technical, Apple and all this other shit, put that shit there, all right? There's enough space in the description where you could type this nigga name.
Give a nigga
like,
a point on the
fuck?
album or something. Give a nigga a point.
A point would
You know what I'm
definitely
saying?
do. A point would definitely do.
But at the same time, and I'm just getting this shit right now, do you think because they trying to keep y'all hidden? Because
that is a main part of it. I ran into a lot of cases where people like, yo, I don't want nobody know. Like, this is my secret. People love to call me the secret weapon, and I'm like, no, it's not like that. I have bills to pay.
Exactly.
And they on the low, they be having you master it a little bit, quick master it type
I do
shit.
all that. I do most of my sessions right now because of the experience. They're like, they get it fully mixed. They try to really get it fully mixed during their recording process. Yeah. So they just come back and do another song. They be like, nah, that one is gone. We put it out already. Yeah. I'm like, really? Did we mix it? They're like, it sounded good.
Yeah.
It sounded good.
That's crazy.
And then just to keep it moving. But they have a law that's going into effect right now that engineers should get royalties off of every song that they recorded. I don't know if you saw it.
At least a point. That's what I'm saying. At least a point. Like,
you know what I'm saying?
Like,
they need more than a fucking point, but I mean that's a good start.
I mean, an artist only get like 5 points or something.
But I mean, the engineers should get points. There's cases where you work with labels and they have people that A&Rs, coordinators, and these guys come around and they're all getting points, and you're like, yo, you showed up to the studio like 3 times out of the last year we've been recording, and you got like 2 points on the album. Who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
But so I mean, it is only fair to give engineers and people that sit there. Somebody sit there and listen to you scream and moan and fuck shit up.
And I'm pretty sure sometimes
days
they be
and
whack.
days. Yeah,
and you made that song possible.
Yeah, a lot of times.
I'm pretty sure when they came into the studio, their shit was totally whack.
A lot of times people don't have it.
And then you made a fucking mirror. You pulled the miracle out your ass, right?
Yeah, well, that's part of being an engineer. Like, it's basically like training a baby. You have to teach. Some guys come to the studio. Everybody has the dream, like, I want to rap, but not everybody's blessed with rhythm. You know what I'm saying? So some guys will come and they'll be all the way off. Some people that want to sing auto-tune, they're like tone deaf, and you got to sit down and like work with them. Like, oh, you got to sing it in this key, not in that key. And it's very, very time consuming.
And tedious.
Yeah.
And I know, because it's not even just when the artist records, it's after the after production.
Yeah, that's the worst. Oh my God. That's the worst part. That's like a nightmare. Because they be like, yo, you can make me sound like Whitney Houston, right?
What is that, post-production?
No, you gotta make me sound like Whitney
Beyonce.
Houston. I'm like, if you don't sound like Whitney Houston,
I would sound like Beyonce, nigga. Get to that.
We lost, bro. Like, hey, nah, but you could do that, right? I saw it on YouTube. Like, no, I don't know what you saw on YouTube.
Yo, like I learned in class in school. Yeah. Yo, there's only so much that an engineer can do. To a track. You have to let every artist know that.
And that's what we highlighting.
There's only so much that you can do. I I'm not the genie. I'm not the
Yeah.
all.
The less experienced people you work with, the harder time you have explaining that to people. Because somebody that come in the studio, like I've been there like 10 times.
I want to sound like
you
Beyonce.
can make magic. Exactly. Like I want to sound like
I want
Beyonce.
to
I'm
sound like Beyonce.
you don't sing in the same register as Beyonce.
better
They're like,
do
what does that
those.
mean? I'm like, oh my God, it's gonna be a
You
long
better
one. This is
master
gonna be a
it.
long one.
You better master it and put some twinkles on it, and I better sound like
This is
Beyonce.
the big one, baby. I'm coming to
I
you.
better sound like Beyonce.
But Chaz, you know, I'm gonna make you sound like Beyonce.
Thank you.
I got you. Of course.
So what's next for Craig the engineer?
Taking over the studio scene right now. Yeah,
Okay.
that's basically, like I said earlier, I'm just managing artists, songwriting, just trying to fully become a full production facility, you know? Because right now I feel like we got the recording and mixing and mastering side down pretty good, but there's other stuff, like when I said high-end earlier, I was meaning like there's other stuff that we could cater to that I feel like we're missing out on, you know?
Is there an artist you want to work with that you never worked with before?
No, man, yeah, there's tons of artists I want to work with. Like I said, Dr. Dre, if I could. Definitely, I never worked with Jay-Z. Since I've been in New York, I feel like I worked with everybody in New York other than Jay-Z. Like we've been Rock Nation, you know what I'm saying? It's trying to get up there, but like I worked Murder Inc. for the G Units, all the in-betweens. Bobby Smurda, all those guys they was at my studio. Dave East, but Dave East, they started.
So since y'all into management, would y'all manage me though?
Let me hear something. You got some bars?
No, but I'm saying like, 'cause y'all I got a high 16.
You got a high 16?
I got a high 16. Hold on, let me write it, but I got a high 16. But you know what I'm saying? I'm in the hip hop scene. Would you manage me though?
Yeah, we gotta talk. We'll talk about it. I won't say yeah right away. We see what both sides have to offer, sit down and iron it out. You know?
I think
I'm always trying to make a deal. You see this shit, right?
But I'm
First the
definitely
vegan cooking show, and I'ma have them as my management. Watch this, and I'ma say hi ugly to every motherfucking body. Watch.
I'm definitely open.
I think how you get to Jay-Z, because he has an engineer that's
He
locked
does,
in,
he
Young
does.
Guru.
Yeah, he does.
So I think you get close to Young Guru. I think you get up into that
Word,
mission.
you're right.
What do you do for Google though?
No, Guru, Young Guru.
Young Google.
No, Young Guru. He's a person. Young Guru.
I thought he said Google. I swear to God, I thought he said Google. I thought he said Google. He worked for Google. I was about to say, oh shit, y'all need to make that GPS more clearer. I need to see the floor of a motherfucker when I'm trying to be on my stalker shit.
We need to work on our syllables apparently.
Yeah.
G-U-R-U.
He said Google.
Guru.
I was about to be like, I need to work on that GPS more when I'm
They got a
stalking
Young
this
Guru?
shit and
They got a
niggas
Young
in the
Guru?
building. I need to know what floor the motherfuckers on.
We done had it all fucked up.
Not just the address.
Y'all on that old Google. You gotta get on that Young Google.
I'm sorry. I thought he said Google. My
For
bad.
Google,
I'm
Google,
sorry,
you're right,
y'all.
100% right. For Google, I'm a contractor, so I have a contract with a company basically that has a contract to bring audio engineers into Google.
Wait a minute, you fuck with Google too though?
Yeah, that's my day
See,
job.
I know I wasn't bugging. Y'all just fucking laughing at me.
I said Guru. He said I didn't know. Let me hold
Yeah,
some.
no,
laughing at me.
Let me hold a couple of dollars,
He got
man.
Google in his pocket.
Hold on, let me hold a couple of dollars
You
or
gotta
something.
manage
I
me.
get you Google
You gotta
back.
manage me.
Google, you could have came through with a bigger bottle of Hennessy than this.
You gotta
man.
manage me.
I
I
didn't
wanna
know.
be under your shit.
I didn't know. I would have, but I didn't know.
You didn't know you was gonna say Google tonight? God
This is
damn it.
amazing.
didn't know.
See, this is
only
today.
fucking with you,
So
only fucking with
we're about to wrap this interview up. But before I do, I want to just acknowledge Black excellence.
Yes.
We had an amazing show today. And shout out to my engineer for letting me go over time a little bit.
Thank you, Will.
But we had Black excellence in the building today. We had Power. We had Wasted Talent. We had Panda.
Yeah.
We had guitarists,
How Ugly.
actresses, How Ugly. And
Live Act, Cha-Cha
Live Act.
Mystique.
And Will, the engineer, and Jig,
DSN.
the fucking producer with the hats. He does these and everything else. This is what you call young Black entrepreneurship, young Black excellence. Us out here really making it happen and doing the most and the best out here and really explaining what it takes to succeed in here.
Yeah.
I remember watching Troy, and in the beginning part of the movie, Troy, the little boy come into the tent and tells the nigga, I forgot the fucking nigga's name, the character's name, because I'm on some spiritual shit right now. Yeah. But he tells the nigga, oh, he's supposed to fight a guy. The little kid comes in there, I don't know how you scared, how you not scared to fight the guy or whatever. I wouldn't do it. I would be scared. He was like, if you're not taking the risk, nobody's ever going to remember your name. Huh? And everybody sitting in this building is taking that risk and giving you our best. And we making our dreams come true. Am I right, though?
I need a bacon.
Are we? Are we? That was good, though. That was good, though. Yeah. Yeah. And that shit is real. And I'm a little stuffed up because I only been in this game for a year. And to be inspired, because I be inspired by you motherfuckers. I'm not saying it like that. Nah, but I be inspired
better be a
by
motherfucker.
Yeah. On some real shit, both you and Andrea, I gotta step my motherfucking game up. Nah, and it's not about competition. Hold up, no.
They came to see you. They came to see you. What are you talking about?
But it's not in a negative way or like a competition type of thing.
I understand what you're saying.
It's about, these are my peers.
I'm with you.
Look at my peers. It don't get no better than this. It really don't. So before we exit, I want tell everybody where they can find you and get to know your stuff and everything like that.
I'm on Instagram at Craig the Engineer, THE Engineer, regular. And Twitter is Nassau Semi, or Twitter is Craig the Engineer too. So just all social media platforms, just type in Craig the Engineer. YouTube, if you want to hear some of my music, go to Craig the Engineer, and you can listen to the beats I upload up there. And SoundCloud as well is Craig the Engineer. So.
And people can hit you up if they want their projects done.
Yeah, you can hit me up if you're looking for work, if you need studio time.
Seriously, and you need to bring that fucking deposit first. Or it's just an idea.
Everything, I have a website, so you can go to craigtheengineer.com to book studio time, and it shows you the facilities we're working in, and you can pick whatever studio. We have 2 different rooms, so you pick which room you want to work in and leave your deposit there and pick a date you want to work.
And is there any advice you would like to give to the future engineers or even producers? Because I think you're more important than a producer.
I mean, as an engineer, you just gotta stick with it, man. It's a hard job engineering, but just don't give up. A lot of people I know that started engineering, they give up because they're not recording stuff that they like, you know, and they're not, like, the music doesn't drive them. There was a lot of times where I was recording gospel music, you know, and it wasn't really like my thing, but it was paying my bills. So I feel like you just gotta stick with it, and if you stick with it, what you want will happen. But there's a process, like, you don't make it overnight, you know? Like TJ could tell, I was doing this forever, and it was like 10, 15 years in, and then Designer walked in, and we didn't even know that shit was gonna be a hit, you know?
We didn't know
that was gonna be a hit.
We were just fucking around. The scammers. Yeah. I think I'm getting it right.
You know that was gonna end up on Kanye West's album?
Nah, we did not
know that.
We did not
know that. We were supposed to wake up knowing that.
I should have, right? We did not. You know, so it takes some time, man, and that changed everything. Like, it's just once I did that, then other big records started coming my way. People were like, oh, you did that, I could send you this. And that's kind of like what people want. So I feel like just stick with it, man. Just don't give up. If you want something, go for it.
And shout out to High Ugly as well. Go get that clothing
Definitely
brand.
Get that High Ugly.
Suits, shorts, t-shirts.
You need some t-shirts, man.
Ugly tee, right?
I need a High Ugly tank top. It's hot as a motherfucker in here,
my
man.
titties all sweating and shit. I need some motherfucking...
HighUgly.com. Go to High Ugly Clothing.
I'm sorry, baby.
HighUglyClothing.com.
Respect to you.
We got
T3 knows.
But you know it's live back. We getting lit over here. Yeah, so thank you everybody for tuning in today. We had an incredible show, and I hope you had a good time as well.
Yes.
Recaps will be out soon. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels and our iTunes and what else we got on here?
All that.
He's responsible for that shit. I'm just only
It's not me. I'm just here. I'm a medium viewers. You responsible for all this shit. Don't be putting it on me, man.
And the hats
Have
and
Uncle
everything.
Sam coming looking at my door knocking and shit. It ain't me.
Wait the next episode.
That's how we here every motherfucking Wednesday between 8 and 9 p.m. Shout out to my motherfucking engineer Will for another
Shout out Will, man.
week of you handling your motherfucking business. And stay sucker free.
Wow.
Fact.
Yo, also happy birthday to Queen B.
Queen B. You
Happy
wanna remember
birthday.
what that be, huh? And we up off this. Let's get it.
You want. You've got everything that a woman could ever need in life. I got a closet full of minks, chinchillas. I got a bureau full of diamonds. I can change